Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to Electric Classic Cars in Newtown, mid Wales. Now hopefully you've seen my previous video where I announced that I have been taking part in the making of a TV programme all about the amazing work that takes place here at Electric Classic Cars. And I thought you would like to take a look around this. So this is a 1969 VW crew cab. I think we need to start with a bit of a history lesson.
The Volkswagen Type 2, known depending on body type as the Transporter, Combi, Microbus and Camper to name but a few, or in this guise, a crew cab. The first generation, or T1, was made between 1950 and 1967 and was famous for its split-screen windscreen. In late 1976, the second generation of Volkswagen Type 2, the T2, was introduced. Models before 1971 are often called the T2A or Early Bay, while models after 1972 are called T2B or Late Bay. The second generation Type 2 lost its distinctive split front windshield and was slightly larger and considerably heavier than its predecessor.
Okay, history lesson over. Now you may well be forgiven for looking at this car on the outside. I mean, it's been beautifully restored and you might think it's just a normal standard VW crew cab. Oh no, no. The hint is in the name, Electric Classic Cars. This has had some proper special work done. And in order to explain that, we need to head round the back. Now for sure this car has had a really lovely restoration done. It really has been done beautifully. Now when they were made, these things had a mighty 47 horsepower. But this, just check out this rear badge. Not Volkswagen, but Volkswagen. This has had a full electric conversion. And hidden under the bodywork between the rear axles of this car is the drivetrain from a Tesla Model S. It has a large Tesla motor. Now that motor produces 450 horsepower. Yep, 410 times the amount of horsepower. Direct drive to the rear wheels. Now what I'm going to do very shortly is we're going to go for a drive, and I'm going to get Richard, who owns Electric Classic Cars, to take us out. He's done the conversion and talk more about the technicalities of that, because we've also obviously got in here a battery pack from a Tesla, so we can talk about how many kilowatts, how much range, but the performance of this thing is absolutely mind-bending. Because again, if you look carefully, the fuel filler cap just here, yeah, that's the electric charge socket. It's just a brilliant thing. If you looked at this from the outside, you'd never know it was an electric car until you hear it go. And then inside's really cool. See, look, this thing on the inside, it's just been done so beautifully. Now, at first glance, you would look at this and think, what's the difference? But the big difference is when you actually start the car, you hear these kind of ticks and noises from the electric motor and so on, and then you've got this touch screen controller just here that gives you all of the controls of the car, and you've actually got the controls of your gears as well. You've got a big DNR, that's not do not resuscitate, although to be honest, after you've driven this, that's probably quite apt. That's drive, neutral and reverse. You've also got your speed and RPM of the motor, and then other things in here in terms of temperatures and voltages and so on. So you basically drive the car from there. And then the only other thing is, under this kind of bag here is an electric power steering unit, just to make the steering a little bit better. And then it's just been fitted out beautifully in here. And I know it's an ongoing project of Richard's. The rear deck underneath that canvas cover, that's going to be decked out in wood and it's going to look really beautiful. But I think it's about time for us to basically take this car for a drive. I have been in it before and I've seen it being driven, and it is unbelievable. So let me go and grab hold of Moggy and we'll take it for a spin. Welcome back to the channel.
Thank you very much,
now,
sir.
if you haven't watched the other video, this is Richard, Moggy,
Hello.
and Spud in the back.
Say hello, Spud.
Fucking order. So, tell us about it. How long did you have this before you'd electrified it? Or,
Yeah. It actually took me about probably 18 months to find the right vehicle.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted a crew cab.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted an early bay.
Yeah.
There's two styles of bay. There's your late bay and early bay. An early bay has more rounded bumpers and the indicators are down low, and there's certain features I like about early bays. So I kind of narrowed my my search down by saying a crew cab.
Yeah.
I narrowed it down further by saying I want an early bay, and I narrowed it down even more when it said it has to be right-hand drive, because a lot of the ones that still left that are rust-free are left-hand drives from Nevada and California.
Yeah.
So it took me 18 months to find this,
Yeah.
which was a rapid response fire engine in South Africa.
You're kidding me.
Nothing rapid about it.
45 horsepower rapid response.
Oh, it was less than that.
Was
probably.
it?
Yeah. Bear in mind you've got like a water bowser at the back, so underneath the back seat area there's a water bowser, so that was probably a good ton or two.
Man.
You had a siren on the top, so you had a little light and stuff on the
that.
and there was a seat. Like a water cannon rotational seat on the back.
Kidding me?
Yeah, all of that got stripped out in South Africa, apart from the bell. They missed that, so I kept that.
That is excellent.
Instead of like giving it a good honk to get out of the way when pedestrians don't realise you're there, just give it a little big bing.
Sounds like the phone's ringing.
Exactly, old school way.
Wicked.
So yeah, we got it from South Africa, imported it. This green is actually the South African fire truck green. So this is what all the fire engines used to be back in the day. With this green, so it's not actually a Volkswagen green. So,
And it's a nice colour.
it's nice, isn't it?
It
And
is
it's also
really
got 6 seats in, so it's really practical.
Yeah.
So 3 in the front, 3 in the back. So Spud's got his whole sofa to himself in the
Yeah.
rear. So it's a really practical car. I use it every day going back and forth to work. It's a work vehicle. It's great for the family on the weekend, going surfing. You throw the surfboards in the back. The wetsuits can go in the engine bay, or what the engine used to sit, 'cause that's now a boot. So yeah.
And then somewhere in your crazy mind you decided to put a Tesla drive unit in and give it 450 horsepower.
Yeah, it's a little bit underpowered now.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let's not go crazy with a 600 horsepower one.
Yeah.
Let's go more sensible. Put a 450
Because you
horsepower
do
one.
have a Beetle with 600 horsepower, right?
Yeah. So that's my crazy side of my personality. This is the more sensible side of my personality. This is about as sensible as I get, seriously. So it's
Right.
450 horsepower in a vehicle that probably had, say, 45 horsepower. So it's 10 times more power. Which sounds
that
like-
is nuts. That
So
is
it's great.
nuts.
It's as much power as you ever want under your right foot, put it
Yeah.
that way. So you have to respect it.
Yes.
There's no driver assists, there's no
No.
traction control,
No.
there's no driver aids, nothing. The only driver assist you have is the safety valve in my head, which is very
That
much
broke
broken.
a long time ago.
So yeah,
Wicked.
it's a great vehicle, I love it.
Off we go.
You ready?
Yeah. I just love the fact you've got DNR, do not resuscitate.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is the clutch pedal's gone and the gear shifter's gone.
Oh, of course, because it's just literally...
So if you've got a guy sitting in the middle here,
Yeah.
he's got either legs outside of,
Yeah.
either side of the gear shifter, and when you're changing gear, you're whacking him in the knee and stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's all gone, so it's freed up a little bit of space
Yeah.
inside the cab as well.
Cool.
So I'll put it into D for drive, or D for danger,
Danger.
and then you just gently put your foot down. And I mean gently, especially when Spud's in the car.
So
Seatbelt on, Spud.
how did you go about the conversion? I mean, obviously the engine comes out, but was it just a trial and error process of knowing how to mount the motor and stuff, or
I mean,
where do you start doing something like that?
this obviously isn't the first electric classic car I've ever built.
No.
So when it came to this, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And when you take an engine and gearbox out of the car, the space that's in there, you kind of pretty much know, right, that's going to suit one type of motor rather than another
Yeah.
motor. I already knew that I was going to get rid of the gearbox, because on some conversions we do, we actually keep the gearbox and and attach an electric motor to it.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll get rid of the gearbox because I wanted to put quite a bit of power into it.
Yeah.
And a Beetle gearbox, which essentially is, only a VW bus gearbox is a little bit more manly than a Beetle gearbox, but not by much.
Yeah.
And I knew the amount of power I was going to throw at it ain't going to be able to cope with that, so I got rid of the engine and the gearbox. And then I thought, right, I can either go with a Tesla small drive unit, which is about 300 horsepower, or go with a, all singing, all dancing 450 horsepower.
Yeah.
So I went with that, because the other thing is I tow with this as well.
Yeah.
So I got a car trailer where you take the cars up to the spray shop, so I wanted something with a bit of grunt as well.
Yeah.
And also I like a bit of power.
Yeah.
So 450 is about right. And then it came to batteries.
Yeah.
So that's the motor in. Nice and simple sort of like installation of the motor. You obviously have to create your own drive shafts and things like that. So batteries, we could go to town with this, because usually in a car you're restricted by how much available space you've got to fit batteries, but also how much weight can the actual car carry.
Yeah.
Now this can obviously carry a good amount of weight because it's got a pickup bit at the back and it's built to carry weight. So that wasn't a problem. And when I looked around the car for where I could stick batteries, there's a space underneath, actually not just underneath the back seat, but behind where the back seat is and underneath the load bed.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Basically, you can have 16 Tesla Model S batteries in.
You're kidding me.
So that's a complete Tesla Model S battery pack.
Wow.
So I took a
90 kilowatts or
100.
100 kilowatts.
I put 100 kilowatts. Actually, it was a Tesla Model X in the end. So 100 kilowatt hours out of a Tesla Model X and 450 horsepower, which is 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds.
So this is a VW Crew Cab P100.
Which is stuck in ludicrous mode. With a little sprinkling of insane mode.
What range do you get out of it then?
If you drive it sensibly, which is pretty rare for
That's
me.
that's never going to happen with you.
Not really.
No.
But if you did drive it sensibly, or if somebody else drove it,
Yeah.
they'd probably get a good 250 mile range out of it.
Wow.
I think the Tesla Model X with 100 kilowatt hour battery pack is like more like 300 mile range. So in theory, you can get 300 mile range out of it. But in my experience, a good solid 250 mile range you can get all day long.
And you've done a number of the kind of VW bus conversions. So have you put other motors in them as well, other than the big ones?
Yeah, the classic. If a guy comes to me and is crazy enough to say, "Yeah, I want a 450 horsepower Tesla drive unit," the first thing I'll do is shake his hand and say, "Well done,
good
mate.
man.
Good man. I like you already." And then I'll try and talk him out of it because it is bloody lethal. And then what we normally do in the VW bus conversions is attach a motor to the existing gearbox.
Yeah.
So we keep the whole power within touch and distance of the original vehicle. So I think the original Beetle bus engines were about, say, 45, 50 horsepower.
Yeah.
And then we'll put in something that's about 100 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is plenty enough to keep up with modern traffic, even overtake now and again without worrying too much. But it's not going to give you a 0 to 60 in 5 seconds or anything like that. So that's our usual conversion.
Talk to me about the drive shafts, because you've had a few drive shaft issues.
Yeah, closely related to my heavy right foot, that is. So when you've got a vehicle that's about 1.6 tons, and bear in mind a Tesla Model S or a Model X is probably 2 tons, 2.5 tons. They're heavy vehicles. But a vehicle that's 1.6 tons as it is now, and 450 horsepower. And if you use the original drive shafts, which are about the width of your thumb, and you floor it, they don't like that so much.
They just snap.
Yeah. So we then thought, right, well, we'll get some proper ones made out, new heat-treated drive shafts that are as thick as my arm to be able to cope with the torque. I thought, while I was waiting for that, this is my only vehicle, so I wanted to keep it on the road. So we put some temporary ones on and went to town welding them up. And my chief fabricator really went to town welding them up, and they ended up being about yay thick. Probably, they looked as if they could cope with anything.
How long did they last, mate?
At about 20 metres.
That is brilliant.
But since I've had these new drive shafts in, which are properly, built new, and they've gone through a really serious heat treatment process as well. I've given these loads of abuse and they're fine. So.
Yeah. This just doesn't make sense to your brain, does it? Because I've been in one of the original kind of, camper van things, and they're not very fast at all, are they? This thing's just, one, it doesn't make a noise, and it's just ridiculously quick.
Well, I see a victim ahead. Do you?
Oh, mate, yes. You're just about to ruin his life because he's got his buoyed up little Fiesta there, look, with his big cherry bomb exhaust.
I don't know what that is, but he's put a lot of effort into it.
He has, hasn't he? Oh, look, here we go.
Should we start pushing him?
Oh, that is hysterical. He's probably like, what's going on? What's that?
He was really trying then as well, wasn't he? Go on, turn right.
Oh, brilliant. That is so... It's a Mount Tune ST, look. Oh, he's going.
Please turn right.
Oh, he's going to go right. Is he going to go? Oh, no! He's chickened out, look.
Take one Fiesta ST.
So on the show we've got 9 cars and a bike.
Yeah.
And they range from the mild conversions to a couple of conversions with the proper wild ones. So you need to make sure, as I said, stay tuned to the channel. I'll give you lots of information about when the show's going to air and so on. But the process, I just find it fascinating where you just, because they're all one-off builds pretty much. I know you've done a few cars multiple times, so you'll learn each time.
Yep. But even if we've done a car before, the electric world is moving on, the electric vehicle world is moving on so fast and developments are happening all the time.
Yeah.
If we did a car 6 months ago, we come to do another car, well, there's a new DC converter we can use, there's a higher powered charger we can use, there's always new things we're trying all the time.
Yeah.
So yes, a tried and tested route is great, but when the whole industry is developing at such pace, the goalposts are moving all the time, and we are right at the cutting edge of that.
Yeah.
So quite often we'll get new stuff, we'll try it, and it blows up or breaks or something happens, and the manufacturer's going, well, it's kind of straight out the factory, and they're going, well, great, could have told us that.
Well, we are very nearly back at the garage, so I think we draw this one to a close. What a thing! What a thing!
We've also upgraded the brakes, just so people don't think I'm completely crazy.
Yeah.
I have put Porsche brakes.
Suspension upgrades too.
Oh, that's one. The suspension's one. I put Bilstein shocks all the way around and upgraded anti-roll bars, Porsche brakes, and apart from that, and power steering.
Yeah.
But that's only just to make it a bit more practical for when my wife drives it. But yeah, altogether it's just a Ferrari killing VW 1969 crew cab.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. What an utterly bonkers machine. But yes, stay tuned for more information about the TV show. Rank! Stop! But I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film, guys. But
see you later.
Me and Moggy, you take care.
Bye.
Drive safe.